Hello and welcome back to Besiege, and I will be showing you basic mechanics of the how to basically play the game. So the tooltip tells you how to build. First build some wooden blocks onto the source cube, right? And so you follow the picture by clicking the basic. Click on here, or you can click on blocks. I recommend blocks just to get used to it. And so you're facing that way, this way, towards the house. Now select some wheels, which will be in the mechanical section. So you select the wheels, you put them on there, right? What's next? Place machine on the ground with this. This is set machine on ground. And then press play, and then accelerate using up and B, up and down, right? So bam. Super basic, right? But this is where I'll start to talk about it. So these wheels, you can button map each key mapper, right? Because we have keys on this keyboard, not buttons, unless you're using a controller. But for instance, these wooden blocks, for instance, they don't have any properties that you can adjust, right? Nothing. You have the starting block, which does nothing except that it activates checkpoints and all that. Now, each wheel, see this is where it gets complicated. Each wheel only has two functions, forwards and reverse, automatic and wheel speed. So for instance, we set this wheel to automatic, and I'm not going to press any keys, but see what it does. You set it to automatic, it will keep going forward automatically. That's what it's for. So I suggest keeping that off. Now, since this only has forwards and reverse for all four wheels, they all move forwards and they all move backwards, but there's no left and right function, right? So what you could do, if you want to run like a tank, right? Um, and okay, I will, for the sakes of this, and because not everybody has a keypad on the right side, I'm going to set this forwards to J and backwards to M. Do the same here, J, M, so that you have buttons for J and M on the keyboard that'll set this half of the vehicle forward, and then this half of the vehicle backwards. And then I will set L and period here, L and period here, and then once I press play, it'll control like a tank. So if you want to move left, you're gonna have to press L. So L will move this part forward, and then period will move this part backwards. So if you want both to move, if you want the car to move forward, you hold J and L, and if you want to go backwards, you press M and period. Now, for instance, if you can't already tell, when I'm turning and moving forward at the same time, I'm holding L to make the right side of the vehicle accelerate forward while the other one stays still. Now, if you really want the to turn faster, you make the left half go in reverse while the right half moves forward. This will make it rotate faster. This is similar to how tanks turn, move forward, move backwards, turn. This is tank controls in essence, right? But that's four keys, and some people, especially me, do not like having four keys. I mean, this is for very refined movement. Not refined, but it controls really well. But it can get overly complicated having to think out how you're going to control the vehicle and such. And yeah, it's a little complicated for some. But if you like controlling it like a tank, which I do, because I love tanks, this is a very simple control where you have J J and M control the left half, and then L and period control the right half for those wheels. So you have that. And so the way that I do it is ever since these large wheels came out, here, if you already set it to the ground, right, and you want to add something bigger to it, like let's say that, but there's that intersection because of the ground here. Let's see, it intersects the ground right there, and then you can see, boop, the little bottom half, right? So I have that. So then you translate the machine. Now, translating is, they use that term for mathematics. When you're translating graphs, is usually when you're moving them up, down, left, or right. So you have the three axes. Okay, so let's move this up this way on the y-axis, right? Well, yeah, I guess whatever you want to call it. Either one of these could be the x or z, depending on which angle you're looking at. Whatever. We'll move this up, away from the ground. We will add wheels here and here, here and here, and then set it back on the ground. So we still maintain tank controls, right? But whenever you're adding new wheels, this is the default, right? This is the default setting. So if you want to move up and down on the arrow keys, it'll work. So for instance, these big wheels, they'll move backwards and forwards, right? They'll do it. But at the same time, if you wanted to move one direction or another, you could, right? You could. Using the tank controls, right? I still have not changed the middle wheels. So as you can tell, the little wheels in the middle that are right in between the wooden block and the big wheels, they still function. They still move the wheel. And so basically, these wheels, these little ones, move the ones on the outside, independent from the block. But the big wheels move independently of the wheel. And so wrap your head around that and you'll realize that it's very simple to make machines that work like this, that articulate, right? So what a lot of people, and what I do, is remember how you have the tank controls that go left and right? Right? So you make forwards here left, reverse right, forwards left, reverse right, and then same with here. Actually, I think it's this way, right and left. Alright, and so, see, when you want to turn right, the wheels on the right will move backwards, while these ones move forwards, just how the tanks, remember how the tank controlled, right? The tank controlled in a way where if you wanted to turn right, these will go backwards and these will go forwards. So you're moving clockwise, right? And then, so if you want to turn left, these ones will go forward, these ones will go in reverse. So this is tank controls. You still have the tank controls with the small wheels, but it's just mapped to left and right. Since they're mapped into left and right, you don't have to do up and down because you have the outside wheels. That's where you go up and down, up and down. So basically, this is the simplest way to use only 4 keys to move forwards, backwards, right, left, and you can move diagonally at the same time. It's very robust. It doesn't require too many moving parts. I like it, and it's very simple, and that's what I typically use. So using basically the super simple layout there, you can keep going to the next zone. You can go up this part, maybe. Yeah, you can do that. So next zone. I'm just showing you what this kind of layout can do. Since it can articulate and everything, of course it can go outside and inward. So this is the very basics of how wheels work. But this isn't going into any other details, which I'm about to get to. So for this stage, all you have to do is break the 2 houses, which is simple. You can avoid fire very simply. Oh, just move there and get that one. See, it's simple, right? This one's simple too. You just keep going. You run over them all. Keep going. Oh, but it doesn't seem to... It's too rigid. This is where you learn that the machine's a little too rigid. And so let's go back to the first stage, and I'll show you a mechanism I came up with. It is very flexible, and it works similar to how our arms work, right? Big car chest is what I named it, right? So, you know how cars in real life, they have suspension, so that when forces apply, let's say you feel a bump in the road, right? You feel a bump, you know, and okay, let me show it in action. When you feel a bump in the road, or when a force is applied, like when you accelerate, and then when you decelerate, forces get applied to the front and back. So there's a way for the machine itself to take the stress, right? And so that's why they have the suspension for every wheel, right? Now, the machine we had earlier had the body between the wheels. You don't want that, because if you have that, then if you're going over, let's say, a bump that's about yay high, then you go over it with your wheels, but then the rest of the chassis will hit it and you'll break your vehicle, right? If it's made out of wood. If it's made out of steel, probably if you have enough force going towards it, right? So let's see that rock, for instance, that rock over there, that rock. Another reason why I added these wheels are strictly for going forwards and backwards. It's just so that in case I get over a wheel, when I'm accelerating forward, it'll make it move forward. But when I move left and right, no, nothing. Nothing. You see this? Nothing. Right? Of course, armor here for arrows. The chassis itself here is usually made out of bracers and suspension here. Now I'll show you the reason why I like this. So you see that little thing, right? So you see how the suspension compensates? It contracts when you're going over it, and the rest of the machine can kind of relax itself, like how muscles. When you pull on muscles, the your arms are able to extend itself. So you see right here, there's these little parts. This little gap here is it flexing, right? And so you see, okay, so you saw the back part. So when once you get over, let's say, the thing, or you're about to go over, you're going slowly, this part can extend when it needs to, but at the same time, I mapped it so that these springs will contract when I press forward or backwards. So at the same time, when I'm going forwards or backwards, you'll see that even though it does extend a little bit, I can control it, and then it contracts again. But all of this helps relieve stress off the machine, making the machine more um, durable. Durable because it's flexible. Because if it's too rigid, it'll break due to the stress. So it's able to go over obstacles without caring too much. It can turn, even when it turns, because the wheels themselves, when they're moving, you know, all the force puts stress on the car too, even when it turns. So you see that the machine pulling itself apart. But when I go forward, it okay. So I'm gonna do it again. So when it turns like this. But when I go forward, it contracts again, and it goes forward. So this machine right here, very durable. So let's keep going through the zones with it. So the reason, and I will explain it while I go. So remember how the rock enables each wheel to have independent suspension, and at the same time, we have suspension between each, I guess, axle, each part of the drive system. So you have the rear drive. So whenever a force gets applied to the front part of the machine, you can take the stress because you have suspension here, taking the stress there in the front, here, from the front part to the main section here, and to the back. And if any stress gets put on to the sides, we have these three suspensions. They're called suspension, and the each suspension's one. Just to keep it simple. when you're building, if you're gonna use this chassis and add anything to it, I suggest that you make the suspension on the wheels too, so that um, it doesn't weigh it down too much, and so that if you're putting a catapult on it, it doesn't move too much, so it's more stable in a way. So let's keep going, and you'll see that this is able to climb a lot better, a lot more efficient. So you see that it climbs. I can even do it kind of slowly, just pressing up a little bit, and it will find a way for all the wheels to make it, and it doesn't break. Because like what I said, remember, if an object is between, let's move the camera, and your chassis, this part right here, the chassis, the part that the wheels are connected to, is below, which is in between the wheels, it would interfere with, let's say, that part, and it might break. So we have that, and then we have wheel, and then it's easier to climb over, right? I mean, it looks like it's struggling, but I'll climb over. The wheels themselves, the whole chassis, it is over this part. It's tilted and everything. Yes, it is. But you can see that it can flex like your arms do, like muscles do, like we were designed to do, right? And so it's able to compensate for all the different stressors and loads on each part of the machine. You don't see any parts ripping off, like that's on a lot of machines that I've built. You know, sometimes these little bracers, they rip off when too much stress gets put onto one specific part, right? But this I've gone through a lot of iterations with this, but I found that this one works really well. Of course, the simplest solution for this one is just to go this way, and then go that way. And I'll just go as far as I can with this, because the next one you have to use bombs, whatever. This is just a very simple chassis that you can attach a lot of things to. And I believe, no, this wasn't it. Okay, so remember how the machine was braking last time? Now that each wheel has its own different independent suspension, it's a lot easier for the car to be able to deal with running over everybody. I'm trying not to get on fire, but I did anyways, so I'm just gonna go in. And I believe that even if I get set on fire, I'll still kill everybody. Because, yeah, see? This mission's very simple, easy to do. So for this one, here, I'll zoom it in a little bit. Zoom it in on that part. So, you can see the wheels in action. And then we'll just push it. It's very simple, very simple. Only 4 keys. Nothing complicated or any of that. It's 4 keys, that's it. Very simple to master. Very simple. I like it. Elegance and simplicity. I find that beautiful. Out of all, like most machines, like for instance in the first video, it's an ugly thing. It's overly complicated. This is elegance and simplicity. So as you can see, I'm even able to climb over that and, you know, keep going. All I did was press forward, and I was able to do it. And it's in one piece, right? It's in one piece. Didn't break. And then, of course, this one you use explosives, but, you know, I don't have explosives, so I can't do it. But other than that, you know, it's a very robust machine, too. You know, it'll keep going. And I'll put the file in the video description. But anyways, that was the basic mechanics of wheels. So let me just show you how this one's machine info, center of mass, middle, and the mapping, right? So this is up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down for the springs. Contractible spring. So, well, all of them are supposed to be 10, but, you know, sometimes you forget to save after you're done. But they're all supposed to be elasticity beyond limits 10, all of them. Well, that's 3. You know, sometimes you forget. Double check all the time. It's my advice to you too. In case something's off, double check. So as you can see, each spring is up, down, so that when you're in reverse, the bottom ones activate, and if you're accelerating, the top ones can contract. So that you know, when you're accelerating or decelerating, this part will come together. When you're turning, it'll extend, and you see left, right for specifically these four wheels. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the left, right ones. See, left, right. And then these inner ones are up, down. The outer ones are up, down. So for wheel speed, are all the wheels the same? So for the turning wheels, wheel speed 1, wheel speed 1. And for the outside wheels, wheel speed 2, because I like speed. This is my personal chassis for just all around getting around. Get around practically almost any kind of like land only map, except for a few. But anyways, I will still leave a file link for anyone who is interested in accessing this vehicle to download it and use it and see from what I have learned. Oh, another thing that I did not yet mention is the slider. So this is what, okay. So remember how, real quick, remember how I let things extend? The sliders are what extend, while the suspension, not the suspension, the contractible springs bring it together. The elasticity beyond limits is what makes it come together on its own. It's basically, if you had it at 1, it'd be so loose. It'd be like a very loose rubber band. But if you have a very new rubber band, it tends to want to maintain its original elasticity. So think of it as 10 is a super new, very rough rubber band, and a 1 is a very loose rubber band that just wants, that doesn't care, as you can see. And so these sliders are connected to each other and stuff like that. But anyways, that is my big wheel, because big wheels came out recently. So this is my big wheel chassis. Hope you enjoyed.